We gather as sovereign beings under the lawful design of life encoded within each of us. In this sacred space of the Sovereign Systems Institute, we pause to recognize our jurisdiction, our capacity, and our contract with the natural order. May our words and decisions align with the resiliency code and generate sovereign wealth for ourselves and all who will follow the resilient path. I'm 56 years old, and my elders are aging out. But here's what I'm seeing. They're aging out the same way their parents did. Heart failure, stroke, cancer, diabetes complications. Based on current events, we're spending more time in the physical field this evening. I've witnessed 50 years of medical advancements, and the overall pattern has not changed. In fact, I'm blessed to be here and be able to say that a major advancement in brain surgery saved the integrity of my physical field 13 years ago. I I had a front row seat. My grandparents died of heart attacks and other complications well into their 70s and early 80s. Now people are dying later in life, but it's after 10 to 15 years of prescriptions, procedures, and a degraded quality of life. After 56 years, that's not progress. That's prolonged extraction. Here's the brutal truth. Medical advancements didn't stop the collapse. It just made it more expensive and slower. The system promises prevention, but what it's delivering is better crisis management and longer billing cycles. You've all witnessed this. You know it to be true. You're watching it happen right now in your connection field with the people and families and colleagues and coworkers around you. In the last few weeks, I've witnessed physical collapse across 4 families of colleagues of mine. 2 of them were sudden and unexpected, the kind that extracts weeks of crisis management from everybody around them that's connected. One had a few months of runway, but it was just as capacity draining and disruptive as a fast death. One of them was permanently debilitating and was debilitating for the rest of their natural life. This is an isolated tragedy. This is a recurring pattern. If you think it's limited to my circle, you're not paying attention. You're seeing it all around you. That physical collapse is happening faster and more frequently. And not that it's a historical precedent, but things are changing. The failures aren't coming as much as they were later in life. Now they're coming at 55, 45, sometimes even in 30s. The runway is shrinking. Your physical field isn't just about you staying healthy. It's the foundation that every other field depends on. And one of the reasons I'm doing another ministry this evening on the physical field is because it's that important. When your body fails, your emotional regulation collapses, your intellectual clarity vanishes, your creative capacity stops, your connections become burdens, managing the communication with friends and family, and your vocation becomes impossible. You can't work. Most oftentimes you can't work, and if you can, you're really not working anyway. Your environment destabilizes. You're not able to keep up with things around the house. Your resources hemorrhage. You wind up spending money that you may or may not have, and you're spending more than you otherwise would. And then, of course, your faith gets tested. And oftentimes, most of us struggle there. The brutal truth is that most people don't maintain their physical field until it fails. And then they spend the rest of their life and everybody else's capacity trying to recover what they could have preserved early on. When one person's physical field collapses, it doesn't just affect them. It drains the capacity of everyone around them in their connection field. Here's the math. One sudden failure extracts weeks of crisis management from multiple families, multiple people. One extended illness extracts months or years of caregiving and financial strain and emotional regulation. I've witnessed that in my own immediate circumstances with my wife and my physical issues more than a decade ago. Now you multiply that across just the four families in my example. Then you multiply it again across all the other people. You begin to see the magnitude of this pattern accelerating across our network. The question isn't, will it happen to me? The question is, when it does, will I have the capacity to hold it? Is my physical capacity resilient enough to hold it, or will I collapse? Will it collapse everything that I built? Um, because it's coming. Not maybe, not if you're unlucky. It's definitely coming. So here's what nobody wants to admit. Prevention isn't sexy. It's not, it's certainly not billable from a medical system perspective. And it doesn't create dependency on our medical practitioners. That's why no system incentivizes it. Candidly, the medical system, and we all know this, makes money managing collapse, not preventing it. Insurance pays for procedures, not for you sleeping 8 hours consistently at night. Pharmaceutical companies, they're profiting from chronic conditions, not from people that are maintaining their body and their body's stability. The sad part is the advancements exist, the knowledge exists, the tools exist. The medical practitioners and caregivers are required, but we must know how to collaborate with them so they work to our mutual benefit, not so that it's a one-sided and extractive arrangement. What doesn't exist is the architecture that makes people actually use the knowledge, tools, and practitioners in a capacity stabilizing and a capacity building way before crisis hits. That's what we're building here. Look around. How many people do you know who are actually maintaining their physical field with structural integrity? I'm not talking about eating better or trying to exercise more. I'm talking about actually tracking their sleep, being mindful of their nutrition, moving every day, reducing their toxin exposure, reducing their stress load, and consciously recovering, making sure that they're recovering with the same vigor as you manage your bank account. And the fact is, almost none, nobody. So here's what most people are doing: sleeping inconsistently, eating reactively, moving minimally. You're consuming unknowingly or knowingly toxins daily. You're operating under chronic stress. In many cases, you don't even know it. And you wonder why your body's failing you. It's not a mystery, it's just structural neglect. And the same structural neglect is what killed your parents and their parents. Nothing has changed except the length of the extraction cycle and the systems that we're engaged with. Your physical field has 8 elements, not six like the other fields. It has eight. Why? Well, it's because your body is the infrastructure everything else depends on. And I covered these 8 elements in the inaugural ministry, and I'm going to keep repeating these because they're foundational, they're fundamental. Your life improves when you focus on these and you create a foundation in which you can build your capacity in all your other fields exponentially once you have a solid physical field, stable physical field. So the 8 are sleep, nutrition, movement, toxin management, stress regulation, being mindful of the level of saturation of vitamin D in your blood and magnesium, and that you're taking K2 and some other of the essential vitamins and micronutrients. Recovery protocols, making sure that you're getting adequate rest. And then your body composition, making sure that you're maintaining muscle mass and making sure that you're consuming good fats, but you're managing the fat distribution and accumulation in your body. You miss one of those and your system compensates for a while. You miss three of them and your body starts failing in ways that you really don't notice until it's too late. And then you miss five and you're just a time bomb. You don't have to repeat this pattern. Our elders are aging out the same way because the system never addressed the structure beneath the symptoms. Medical advancement didn't solve the problem. It just made the collapse more profitable for the system managing it. So you have two options. Wait until your physical field collapses and extract capacity from everyone in your connection field around you that's trying to help you stabilize what you neglected. Or you build structural integrity in your physical field now. So when disruption comes, you can hold your position instead of hemorrhaging resources. The pattern you're witnessing, the families, the multiple failures, and the increasing frequency is what happens when entire generations ignore this reality. And again, you don't have to repeat that pattern. It requires a decision to renovate your physical field before it's too late. The disruption is going to continue. The failures are going to increase. The runway is shrinking. Your physical field is either strong enough to hold or it's not. Choose accordingly. That's our ministry for this evening. Grateful for you being here. Now I'll close our ministry. Having prepared through this fellowship, we return to participate from our individual sovereignty, carrying the coherence generated here into our respective fields, in service to the lawful design of life and the continuation of this work. Next week, we're going to cover the intellectual field, the framework of sovereign thought. Take care, everyone.